Good afternoon, Westlake High School. We're your hosts, Matthew Last
Ray Lubrino.
and we're here with the second episode of Top Talk with Mr. Schenker. Good afternoon. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me back.
As you may know, there's an epidemic of drooling spreading across American high schools. Do you think this has an impact on Westlake High School?
I think, unfortunately, the juuling and/or e-cigarette crisis has kind of impacted every high school. Just talking with my colleagues just around the region, all of us are dealing with what unfortunately I think is an epidemic that went unnoticed by the government for far too long.
And how do you hope to protect our student body?
Also, there's a few things that I think students are aware of. One, there's always the vaping sensors, right, that are in the bathroom that students are aware of, and that's works to some extent. They know it's a deterrent, but that's really about kids worrying about getting in trouble. The goal of really any program is to get enough kids educated about why not to do it, as hard as it is to kind of resist that temptation, and really make kids kind of own their own responsibilities and their own choices in life. So we have some programs coming up. We've done in the past, a couple of years ago, we brought in a pulmonologist specialist from North and Westchester Hospital. And he was very informative, actually, to both parents and students. We actually have another program coming up in the winter that the PTA is supporting, bringing back another speaker to really highlight now what we know that we didn't know 2 years ago, which is the actual real medical crisis that vaping is causing in teens in particular, but I think in people who vape in general.
How do you feel about the companies attacking kids with like fruit flavors and stuff like that is attacking teenagers?
I think the reality is their marketing ploy was exactly that. It was to get at kids. I don't know too many adults who really want to taste mango flavor as they're as they're vaping. Most adults are really after for the nicotine and to come off of cigarettes. So I think the clear purpose for why companies like Juul and others really found fruit flavors and the like is the same reason why other companies in the past, and cigarette companies using cartoon characters and the like, were also targeted for saying you're going after young kids. There's only a few age groups that would be attracted by bubblegum and fruit flavored devices.
It's a very good point because no adult is going to go for that kind of flavor. They're just looking to get off cigarettes.
Right.
So there's no real need for those flavors other than for the teenagers to use them.
Right. And I think the move that our government is making, both at the state and federal level, is finally kind of reacting to a crisis that's at this point out of hand. But at least they are putting pressure on these companies to think about their marketing. And if they really are going to help nicotine addicted cigarette smokers get off of the harmful effects of actual tobacco smoke and inhalation of that, that's one thing. But to market to kids, I think they've destroyed many more thousands of kids' lungs than we have actually seen yet in the news.
So we're actually going to bring in our
question of the month.
Yes.
All right. Let's see what we pull this month here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short one. So the question is, are there going to be more language class options offered to students at Westlake High School? It's an interesting question, a good question. It's something that we actually have explored over the past, I'd say, 4 to 5 years. Other than just Spanish and Italian being offered, could we bring in something? The debate is what is that other language? There's actually a lot of talk right now about actually bringing in American Sign Language as an interesting alternative for students. It is a very popular language in southern Westchester high schools. So that's a possibility, but also Latin has been spoken about. I know there's some students that have approached me about French. So we really have to look at what would be the biggest interest of kids here in the building. And if we offered something, would students sign up for it? So I think it's a great question to ask, and I think it's a good question for students to be talking about in lunch classes. Get back to their teachers, get back to your representatives both on principal's advisory as well as student government, and really see if we can move. I'd be more than happy to support a third language.
Thank you for coming on the show. Lovely to have you. And this is Ray Lubrino, and you're watching The W.
Thank you.